Welcome, go ahead and have a seat. You're looking absolutely fabulous. And Merry Christmas to you. I'm trying to cover a Christmas themed horror episode on my channel for every week of December. On my journey to find actually good ones, I came across a Tales From The Crypt episode called And All Through The House, which I covered for my last video. I thought it was absolutely brilliant and I thoroughly enjoyed every second of it. I thought that I wouldn't find anything remotely close to that until I came across this. The show is Tales From The Darkside and the episode is called Seasons of Belief. I feel like I'm experiencing deja vu or something because I mentioned in my last video that I couldn't find Tales From The Crypt anywhere on streaming. And now it's happening all over again with Tales From The Darkside. Neither of them are officially available anywhere except on DVD. I almost got clickbaited by Shudder because I found on their website that Tales From The Darkside was one of the options for shows to stream. There was a big button called Join to stream Tales From The Darkside, and just as I was about to tap that and pay $8.99, I saw these comments. But I have my ways, so here we are. Tales From The Darkside, not to be confused with the 1990 spin-off movie of the same name, is an anthology horror series that aired from 1983 to 1988 on CBS Saturday nights. Now, it wasn't a mainstream hit or anything back then, but it aired late at night straight after the news, which generated a cult following among adult viewers. It was cancelled after 4 seasons due to declining ratings in its later seasons. The show was created by George A. Romero, who many of you may know from Day of the Dead and Land of the Dead. Now, I'm just assuming things here because that's where I know him from. I don't know about you, but he is prolific in the horror genre, and he's done a shitload of other movies. He also created the 1982 and 1987 films Creepshow and Creepshow 2, which were recently adapted into a highly acclaimed TV series that started in 2019 and ran for 4 seasons until 2023. A fun fact is that the main influence for Tales From The Darkside was Creepshow. They were originally going to adapt Creepshow into a TV series, but they couldn't because they didn't have the rights to use the same creep host from Creepshow in Tales From The Darkside. Tales From The Darkside was well known for adapting stories from famous authors, but most notably Stephen King, and he actually wrote material specifically for the show. These were adapted into episodes called Word Processor of the Gods and Sorry, Right Number. Tales From The Darkside features many supernatural and monstrous beings, like ghosts, demons, aliens, mummies, and even trolls. It even delves into cursed objects coming to life and other crazy stuff like that. But the creature in the episode we're talking about today, Seasons of Belief, is completely made up. But I won't say any more because we're about to get into the episode very soon. Seasons of Belief is the 11th episode of Season 3 of Tales From The Darkside, and aired on December the 29th in 1986. That was actually spot on time for Christmas. I would have loved to watch that back in the day if I was actually alive back then. It's time for me to stop talking rubbish. I'm Kai, this is Stop the Lights, and let's just get into the episode. The episode opens up on Christmas Eve with a close-up view of the Christmas decorations in the house as Deck the Halls is playing. Now obviously I can't play that because I get in trouble. F***ing hell, I thought that said based on a true story for a second. I was about to have a heart attack. They've got a lovely Christmas tree with a train there. We cut to the parents, the daughter Stefa and the son Jimbo. Stefa says there's no such thing as Santa Claus, causing the mother to tell both kids that if they say they don't believe in Santa, every time they get a present, it'll break within a month. Also, I'm just realising how old the dad is here compared to the mother. The dad's like 70 and the mother's like 30. He's old enough to be her granddad. That's insanity. I mean, was that normal in the 80s or something? That makes me uncomfortable because of the age gap. We discover that the toy train that was circulating around the Christmas tree has derailed itself and gone up in smoke. Stefa thinks that Santa did this on purpose because she said she didn't believe in him. Since he's not allowed to watch TV, Jimbo asks his parents to tell him a story. Dad says that he's going to tell them about
the most fearsome, dangerous, and appalling creature in the world.
And this creature is called the Grither. The kids say his name.
Grither? Grither.
And the father says that they shouldn't have done that because they'll summon it if they say its name. Then the father tells the kids that on the other side of the mountain where Santa's workshop is, Grither lives inside a shipwreck that's inside a cave. The kids start jokingly shouting out his name.
Grither!
father then says that the Grither has hands as big as basketballs. That sounds a bit like me. My hands are the size of a pan. Look at them. Fucking massive yolks. The dad says that when the Grither finds out that people have been saying his name, he
opens up his fists and he reaches out his arms and he grithers them in. He grithers them in.
Come on, surely those kids are not old enough for stories like that. Like, jeez, calm down. If I was told a story like that when I was 5, I bet I wouldn't sleep for weeks. Dad mentions that the Grither sings a song about himself, and Mum says that their Uncle Michael first heard the song. Obviously the parents are improvising here, but this actually reminds me a little bit of Alan Wake. They're writing a story that's obviously gonna come to life. They both perform the Christmas song O Come All Ye Faithful, but they replace the words with improvised ones about the Grither. They basically just straight up parody the song. The lyrics are, "Oh, I am the Grither, you cannot escape me, etc. blah blah blah."
Blah, 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 blah.
And apparently his ears are so big that he can use them as wings. Man, if she keeps going, we're going to end up seeing the strangest creature we've ever witnessed. Imagine I told you a story about a creature who could turn his penis upside down and his balls inside out, and then it came to life. That's like what they're doing here. The dad gets a phone call from someone asking if they'll be home tonight. This must be the Grither himself plotting his evil intent. And by the way, apparently if the parents don't finish the story about the Grither comes and gets them. Okay, this is definitely the uncle they mentioned.
It's Uncle Michael.
Yeah, of course. And finally, the father tells the kids that the Grither was made up and so is Santa Claus. I mean, fair enough about the Grither, but that was a bit too early to spoil the Santa Claus part. The front door opens by itself and everyone gets knocked over like a bunch of dominoes, as well as the Christmas tree. The wind is just that strong. And apparently Jimbo is the only one strong enough to actually walk over through this extremely excruciating wind rate of like 60 miles per hour and shut the door. He's a kid, and he's still more capable of walking through 60 miles per hour wind than this guy who's like 8 foot tall and built like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It was the Grither.
No, it wasn't. Come on, kid. You should know that the Grither is made up by now. That is terrifying, bloody hell. And he wasn't lying about the size of his hands either. They're the size of a helicopter landing pad. The Grither grabs both the mother and father and squeezes them to death. Man, I'll tell you one thing, I'm glad it was the parents that died and not the kids. That would be utterly horrifying. And that's not to say that the parents dying isn't horrifying. It absolutely is.
What's that?
Are you sure about that now? Maybe that's actually what Santa looks like. And that's where the episode ends, a cliffhanger that leaves us wondering whether the Grither will get them as well or not. You know, maybe it does actually get the kids as well. Who knows? Endless possibilities here. Well, that was actually really good. It was one of the best horror Christmas specials that I've seen. Even though it was a little bit dated, and it wasn't as good as the Tales from the Crypt episode and All Through the House that I watched. Watch my last video, I did it on that, and I don't know, just watch it please. I love how we don't actually see the monster until the very end of the episode. Nearly the entire episode is the parents telling the story about the monster, literally writing their own fate. We only get slight hints of the Grither approaching. For example, the toy train getting derailed, the anonymous phone call, the door opening by itself and knocking everyone down, and a scene that I didn't actually include in the main body, but I will now. The sounds of flapping wings outside. This was just before the parents said that the Grither could fly using his massive ears. I still think that phone call was the Grither trying to find out the best way to kill the family. Also, what's kind of funny is that when the little girl says, well, it wasn't Santa Claus, at the very end of the episode. The camera just literally shows her sitting there in silence for 15 seconds. All in all, a horrifying episode, I'm sure you can agree. Let me know if you have any recommendations for Christmas themed horror episodes and I might cover them on the channel. And let me know if you'd like to see me do more Tales from the Darkside on the channel as well. Like and subscribe or the Grither will come after you this Christmas. Thank you.